Okay, well, good morning. And I am excited, of course, to share with you my passion, social media marketing. And I know that everybody in this room right now, you all have different backgrounds in exposure to social media. Some of you probably use it more frequently than others. And some of you are kind of like, I feel like I got to do this thing. I'm not quite sure about it. And so today's discussion is going to center around all of the things that you should be considering about social media marketing and why it should be important for you and what you all do with your farmers markets. I'm hoping that from this presentation, all of you will get something out of it or a lot. Just depends on your already, kind of baseline knowledge of social media itself. So the way I'm going to run this program is we'll go through the presentation and I'll stop every now and then and just ask if you have questions. And we'll give a break so that if you do have a question, I know Mara and Tammy will help facilitate that so that I can hear what you're asking. And then we'll move on to the next phase. We'll also have an opportunity at the end for some questions as well. And so just jot them down as they come to mind. And I would love to, of course, answer any questions also outside of maybe what we covered today if we have time. I just ask that maybe you leave those questions towards the end so we can get through the content. And then at the end, I'll address any other questions about social media that maybe that I didn't cover actually during the presentation itself. All right, so let me go ahead and start. We're going to do a screen share here, so hopefully everybody can see my screen. All right, are we good? Thumbs up?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. All right, we'll go ahead and enlarge it so we can see it better. All right, first of all, I want to say thank you to being sponsored by the USDA grant to be able to bring me in today, as well as the National Center for Appropriate Technology, Tammy and Mara for bringing me here. I'm definitely excited to share a lot of interesting information about social media and, as we've said, why it's so important, what to focus on right now. That's the most important thing because, as you all know and are aware, the social media landscape is constantly changing. And I get a lot of questions from our clients and from other folks that I meet. They're like, hey, Shannon, what really matters? There's so many things to keep track of and think about what you need to do. So what is it actually that you should care about? And specifically for the farmers market industry. So these are the 6 items we're going to really dive in today. So number 1, why social media is important to your marketing strategy and reaching your prospective shoppers to come to your farmers market. And then recent big changes that could affect you and your social strategy overall. What to expect in 2023, 2024, and where you should focus your energy ultimately leading into the rest of this year, into early next year. And then the importance of creating high quality content, such as short videos and also capturing your own images. The number 5, the importance of protecting your accounts from hackers. That's becoming even more important these days because unfortunately there's a lot going on. A lot of people's accounts are getting taken over and that kind of thing. So we're going to cover that. And then the various strategies to help you stay consistent and build your presence. So very first thing, if nobody hears about you or sees you, then you don't exist, right? That is the importance of marketing in general. That is why we use social media marketing. As you all know, your ultimate success depends on you being seen and being heard and people knowing that you are, what's your opening day? When can people come to your market? What kinds of vendors are going to be at your market? Is there going to be live music? All of it, right? And so it's important to have a consistent presence so that you are seen and heard and you're constantly reminding people that you are here to serve your community. So some other things about why social media is so important. It's where your consumers, your shoppers go to be informed. It's where they go to learn about, as we already mentioned, the vendors that will be there. Maybe what is the produce that's in season, what kinds of other types of vendors are gonna, be specialty ones that are gonna be there. Are you gonna be doing a cooking demo? Are you gonna have live music? It's a great place for them to learn ultimately about all the things, right? And it's a perfect tool for education and advocacy on local agriculture. not everybody knows all the wisdom that you all know about your local agricultural scene, right? Or what are the in-season, produce that are coming out, and different recipe ideas or things that people can use and incorporate that would incentivize them to want to stock up and purchase things at your market and stop by. So it's a perfect place for you to do that. And then, of course, it's free, and it's the best marketing tool you have, right? So we're going to get into what are the main platforms, which are TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I know TikTok is a little bit of a question mark, so to speak. I know some of you may not be able to use TikTok if you're a state-run funded farmers market, but some of you can use it and may already be using it. But I would say the most important one to be focusing on right now would be Instagram. Facebook is important for those folks that still follow Facebook. You can still do advertising through Facebook. That's how you advertise on Instagram. And ultimately, both of those platforms are, of course, owned by Meta itself. And so these are the three that I would focus on. Twitter in general, not so much. You may be interested in having a YouTube channel. So if you're into video and creating video content for educational purposes, you might want to consider having a YouTube channel and incorporating YouTube shorts and video content. We'll get into that in just a minute. But not Snapchat. Try to think. Pinterest, probably not. Some of your vendors may use Pinterest, but these are really the three key platforms that you should be focusing on in general. So we'll start off with TikTok. TikTok, basically, these are, and just to remind you guys, these are some of the changes that have really taken place over the last year or so. I forget if I mentioned that, but these are the highlights that I want to review with each of these platforms. So very first off is TikTok. It overtook Google as the most popular site in 2021 as a search engine. So folks go on there and search, and they look for topics, and they want to find videos that maybe teach them to do things, maybe about a new product, and just learn about doing things. I mean, people are learning how to cook different recipes. People are learning about products that can help whatever the needs are that they have. Maybe there's like an educational segment. I see all over the place there's social media professionals out there that teach different tips and tricks about Canva and different tools and that kind of thing. So it is a valuable resource, actually. Just depends on how you use it. You might find that some of your folks that come to your market actually pay attention to it. And so there are several markets out there that actually do utilize it and utilize it well. Again, it just has to do with kind of your bandwidth and whether or not you feel like you want to take that initiative to use it. The other thing is the Go Live feature happened on TikTok in July 2021. However, caveat, you need 1,000 followers, and you have to be, you guys are all 16 years age or older, but you do need the 1,000 followers in order to have that feature. If you have 1,000 followers, 5 stars to you, because that's not an easy thing to get. So even more brands are also entering into partnership with creators. We're going to get into influencer marketing a little more in just a second, but that is a major player right now, is influencer marketing, or creators or people that can help amplify your market to others. And so you may have a couple connections in your community that are big supporters of your market, and they have a TikTok channel, and they decide to highlight you within their TikTok channel. That is also a very powerful way to get the word out about what you all do. It's expanded also into social commerce capability. This is really powerful for brands to be able to sell directly through the app itself. It's probably more beneficial to your vendors that are maybe having their own TikTok channels that want to sell products that they are offering. So maybe you've got a jewelry vendor, or a soap, lotion vendor, that kind of thing, coffee. So they may actually want to do it through TikTok. And so you may find as a farmer's market manager or team member that you know, they may ask you about some ideas and things like that. So this is just something to pass along to them, that there is this social commerce capability where they can connect their brand and they can actually sell directly through TikTok as well. I don't know if any of you have found the hashtag TikTok made me buy it, but there is a lot of that going around where, you know, people are promoting products and, you know, and then someone says, oh, well, like, you know, hashtag TikTok made me buy it. And that's actually a search term. That's actually a search hashtag that a lot of people like to search and find new products and things like that. They also rolled out the ability to upload videos up to 10 minutes. My thing with that is short videos are a lot more impactful. You don't need a 10-minute video. You know, I would suggest probably in that 30-second to 1-minute range if you are uploading video content to TikTok. But there are certain reasons or needs why people want to have 10 minutes worth of video content. That's usually used for people who have established more of a following, where people are really hungry for the content that they're creating. And so then you have those 10-minute videos. And then also TikTok surpassed 1 billion monthly active users in the year of 2022. It is growing rapidly. I know I already spoke to this when we first started, but there's a big question mark on TikTok, whether or not TikTok is going to continue to be something that U.S. citizens are going to be able to use. I know a lot of government, I know Montana does not allow TikTok usage. And so this movement might continue. And so I always like to stress, don't put your eggs in one basket. You know, that's why we got Facebook and Instagram. And then we're going to talk about other alternatives as well. Do I have any questions about TikTok before we move on? All right. Okay. Do I have a hand?
Okay. Oh yeah. Is there like an age thing for TikTok? I always look at TikTok as like TV boppers doing it. And so I stay away, like hate that crowd stuff. So
I would love to ask the room, who here goes on TikTok? Raise your hand. All right. So there's a handful of you. I actually expected more. Don't be ashamed. I got my hand way up high. So, you know, yes, it is a younger demographic ultimately, but I will tell you, there are some really successful senior citizens that have TikTok pages. It is incredible. They are hysterical. So, you know, the age gap is closing in. I mean, so you know, I would say the heavier user base is certainly, you know, the younger to millennial, but you know, us Gen Xers and some baby boomers, we're on there. So, you know, I wouldn't limit, you know, your possibility of using it, for sure, because I do believe that if TikTok is something that, you know, we can figure out that, you know, the security concerns, maybe we figure that whole thing out, and then we keep it and it continues to grow, it would definitely be a place to continue to foster as we age, as the millennials age, the Gen Zers, all that. So yeah, I mean, that's a great question though, because that's definitely a number one thing you want to think about when you're thinking about the platforms that you're using, and are they actually getting in front of your audience, right? Any other questions?
I just have a comment on that too, is when you're thinking about marketing, like, so you as farmers markets are marketing to the customers that are coming to the market. So if you're interested in attracting a younger demographic, then thinking about TikTok as a platform is probably a good idea.
Absolutely. Yes.
I was going to ask, it seems like I can see TikTok videos sometimes on Facebook. So are you able to share content from TikTok on Instagram and Facebook? Or?
Well, so what's happening is it's not really being shared from Instagram or from TikTok onto those platforms. People are downloading the videos after they create them on TikTok, and then they're sharing them, and it's got that stamp on there that says TikTok. Yeah. So, and I will tell you, when you create videos, okay, so the algorithm on Facebook and Instagram does not favor TikTok video stamped items. Okay, so if you do download it from TikTok and try to post it on Instagram, you'll notice a diminished return on eyeballs because Instagram doesn't support it. It's like, you shared some content from another platform. They could see that. So what I would suggest is create the video on your phone first and do all the editing and then upload it to TikTok. You know, if you want to add extra stuff to it on TikTok, great. But you're going to want to take the original video and then post that actually to Facebook and Instagram itself so that you'll have a better reach, essentially. Okay. Anything else? All right. Let's talk a little bit about Instagram. So Instagram is now favoring original content, which means that you want to think about limiting the overall usage of your what's called user-generated content. You know, example of that would be somebody posts about your farmer's market and leaves a hashtag for you or tags your market on Instagram, and you're like, oh, this is a really great picture. I would love to share this. Or I'd love to share this on my stories. That's fantastic. You can do that. That's a really great way to extend gratitude to those who support your farmer's market and also share that content. And it does work. That being said, Instagram is really moving in the direction of supporting your own content as well. So you'll want to make sure that you sprinkle in a couple user-generated posts, but really focus on your own content as much as possible. That way you can get a nice spread of types of content and ultimately, hopefully, seek out different, eyeballs on your content and interest. And the other one is you can actually add, I'm not sure if all of you realize this, but you can actually add links now within stories. So there is a sticker that you can select when you do a story where you can put a website link. And so if you want to funnel people to your landing page, your website about the market hours, maybe the upcoming weekends, vendors that will be there, whatever it is that you want to do, you can actually add that function in stories now, which is pretty cool. You don't have to have a minimum follower count of 10,000 like they used to require. Anybody can use it now. You can also add in short videos up to 60 seconds in stories. It used to be 15 seconds. Now it's 60, so a full minute. So if you're creating these short videos, you can now share an entire video without a story when it switches from one slide to the next, cutting your video in half. That person will be able to see the entire video on the one slide and then be able to proceed to the next slide on a story. The next one is Reels can actually be up to 90 seconds in length. So, there's been kind of back and forth on like, is that ideal? Is it not ideal? My belief is that short videos should be within a minute because if you create a short video about a topic, and it's within a minute, you can use it everywhere. I'm a big believer in do it once and put it out there than to have to reformat based off of whatever the platform is, right? So, but if you happen to have something in general that you want to share and it's up to 90 seconds, you can share it on Instagram Reels. It will actually work on Facebook Reels as well. A 90-second video will also go up on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. So it will work. Again, just the 60 seconds is ideal. Instagram also offers in-app scheduling. So I know one of the big things that is really super helpful when you're trying to create your marketing strategy is to incorporate the, thinking about your schedule through the week and like, when do you actually have time during the week to focus on your strategy? And when you do, to actually schedule the content instead of being kind of reactive in nature throughout the week and then starting to post things as they come up. Yes, that works occasionally, but I think all of our anxiety levels will go down a lot less if you're doing some pre-planning and scheduling, and Instagram now allows that. The one thing that you cannot schedule in the Instagram app itself is Reels. You can schedule feed posts. Okay, so and stories are things that also have to be created have to be created on the fly, or you can use a third-party scheduling tool, and it will allow you to pre-schedule things. That gets into a whole different discussion, but there are other options out there. Also, there is, if you're not familiar with it, Facebook Creator Studio will allow you to pre-schedule content for both Facebook and Instagram, and it is a free tool. If you've got questions about Facebook Creator Studio, just Google Creator Studio Facebook. And as long as you're logged into your personal Facebook page that's attached to the market page, it will immediately pull up and you'll be able to see all these great features in there that you can schedule content. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of videos out there to show you how to navigate around it and use it, but it is a free tool that Facebook or Meta offers, and I would highly recommend looking into using that to make your life a whole lot less stressful. The other thing is you can actually boost reels now. So basically, like, I see that as major value, because if you're creating a video and you're getting some attention, you can put a little bit of a budget behind it and get it out there. So if you wanted to say, do a video about like, hey, opening day is coming 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I would, at our opening day, we're going to have a special, band, live music. We're going to have, 25 vendors, of which 10 are brand new this year. And you just do sort of like an excitement, like generating type of video, and you post it and you start seeing people engaging with it. Go ahead and put some money behind it. You can actually do the promotion within Instagram itself. Of course, there's more ninja ways to do it within Facebook Ads Manager. Again, that's a whole nother thing that we're not going to get into today, but that option is available to you, just so you know. The one thing you do want to know, though, if you want to promote a video, there are some key things to keep in mind when you're creating your content, and that is your video has to be less than 60 seconds. So unfortunately, you can't take advantage of that 90-second window. You need to keep it to a minute. The file size needs to be that 9:16 dimension, so straight up and down with your phone, not landscape. And then the reel cannot use any third-party IP, okay, or in copyright music or interactive stickers, camera filters, or GIFs, or anything like that. So it needs to be a video that you create, and don't do a lot of extra stuff to it. Just keep it authentic how it is. Okay. Any questions about any of that? Yes.
I have a question just about like Instagram and TikTok. So much of like social media success now is based on algorithms and like posting times and following trends. So do you have any advice on how to kind of tune into the algorithm, or like how to find that, like certain times to post depending on where you are, or like finding those trends? Like I know on TikTok it's very easy to find the trends and like hop on them, but I feel like it's best on Instagram to gauge like when it's going to be most successful to post and what to post in general.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. What the big answer is, it depends on your audience that follows you. My gut, based off of our experience, is that reels do really well in the morning. Whenever I posted something like in between that 7 and 9 a.m. time frame, and that's Eastern Standard Time, so that might shift a little for you all. I'm not sure, but I would assume. But the funny thing is a lot of our followers aren't necessarily Eastern Standard Time, so whatever that time is, it tends to work. But and really, what I would suggest is think about the times that people are more than likely going on social media, and those are typically the hot bucket times. So maybe later in the afternoon, evening hours, maybe around the lunchtime hour, early morning, when people have time to go on their phones and look at things. You'll start to see a pattern of what's working and what's not. But it's so weird. I mean, okay, so I'll just use this example. I was doing a little experimenting with my own personal Instagram reels, and I posted, I used a trending sound with my dog. Of course, it's always cool with animals, right? And that thing like hit something and it just like took off. I mean, my phone was blowing up. It went viral. I got a lot of attention. And then the next day I was like, oh, let me try this again. And I got some attention, but it wasn't like the other video. And so I think it also depends on, you know, if you are using some trending sounds or trending, you know, filters or whatever the case may be, that will certainly help. But again, it's trial and error, I think, mostly. And to speak to even more about the trending type of thing on Instagram. So when you have an Instagram account for your market, number one, you do want to have a business page for your Instagram account, not using a personal, like have created one and it's a personal one. You want to have a business one. That being said, that does limit your capabilities in music choices. So there is some copyright involved in that. So, you know, when you use your personal Instagram, you're able to pick from all these cool sounds and things like that. But when you get into business and for monetary reasons, they restrict that capability. So you've got to be really careful about the trending sounds, and you'll be like, why can't I use the sound on this video? Well, it's because for business purposes, you are not allowed to use it. Otherwise, you could be slapped with a copyright infringement issue. So you want to be really careful about that. You know, you can use the music, the vibe from your market. You can use any of the other sounds on the company page. But, you know, and actually kind of cool, but within the last 2 months, I think, so we just did a recent blog about this, but they have expanded the capability for sounds on business pages on Instagram. So I don't know if you've noticed that yet, but that's just something certainly to keep in mind. Some of the trends are fine. It's just the music gets a little dicey sometimes. So I know that was like a very long answer to your question, but I had that moment. I had to embrace it. So
It was great. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
What's the difference between, or the value difference in a reel versus a video? And what does a reel offer that a video doesn't? Yeah.
Well, so you can create videos, but really you should be creating reels, because that's what, so okay, let's think about this. So people most often consume content on mobile devices. So you want to consider your content mobile friendly. And reels are very mobile friendly. And so, you know, ultimately it's ideal to create a reel with that dimension of your phone up and down, okay, that 9:16 dimension, because ultimately that's how people are consuming content, and it fills the screen. It fills the screen up and down. Unfortunately, it doesn't fill the screen left and right, but it does up and down. You can technically post like the 16:9 dimension, so what we're familiar with on YouTube as a reel, but it just doesn't hit the same. You know, it just doesn't fill the screen the same way. Is there more to that question? I think that's the best I can think of how to answer that.
I have maybe a follow-up question to that. So for the Instagram novices, maybe you can explain the differentiation between like stories and reels and some of like, kind of go back to the basics a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you've got the feed posts, which is the original Instagram. So your squared images that you can post. You can also do square videos also. Those videos can be longer, you know, than the 60 seconds. So, but that is, you know, you can post just basic stuff on the feed. Okay. Then you've got stories, which stories they only last for 24 hours. And you can literally, they're individual slides that you can either show an image, you can show a quick video up to 60 seconds. And you can also create kind of engaging slides as well, that maybe you're taking a poll or question, you know, announcing something. So it literally is like it's a story essentially. So if you wanted to focus on like, do one about meet our, you know, our farmers market team, and you get pictures of everybody and you do one slide per each person and put a little copy on there. You can pre-design those stories in Canva, which is a graphic design tool. If you're not familiar with it already, it is the perfect tool for every person doing anything on social media. Canva.com. And there's a free account if you want to do the pay. It's not very much at all. But anyway, so stories are really good because the algorithm is actually favoring stories. You can share your feed posts into stories also. So if you've got something that's very important in a feed post that you really want to kind of double up on, you can share it into a story. Stories can also be saved into a highlight, which if you're looking at an Instagram page, or account, you might see the circles underneath the bio area. And if you select one of those circles, you can see some slides for people that have saved a story into a highlight. That is another option as well. And then reels are videos, strictly video posts. They need to be at least 15 seconds long or up to 90 seconds. So if it's less than 15 seconds, then that's a story. So without showing you on the phone, that's kind of the gist of it. Hopefully that helps. But
say the name of you said there was one that you use if you use news stories and stuff. What was that? What was it?
Canva, CANVA.com. And you can actually get a free pro account with the nonprofit status.
yeah, it's powerful. You can do basic video editing in there. You can create templates. You can create flyers for your market, business cards, you name it. You can do everything in there. Social graphics. Any other questions?
So do you post reels to your feed posts or does it go elsewhere?
Okay, so Reels is kind of in its own feed, but you can do it, like it will give you an option to select, do you want to post this to your feed? And I always say yes. So, that way people can look at it later. So if you're, and actually, let me see if let me do a quick thing here for you. I'll share a screen here. So if we go into Instagram. Can everybody see okay on Instagram? Okay. So, so if you post a reel, there is an actual selection option here that says reels. And so any reel that maybe you have created will actually land right here. Also any video, if it's video in general at all, it's going to go into the reels funnel. But you can actually go into reels itself on your phone. And there is a separate feed to just thumb through and view reels as you want. Okay. And then going back to the profile too, when I was talking a little bit about highlights earlier, these are highlights here. So when I shared a story that would land here, so if you were to select this area, if I had a story here, you'd be able to see it pop up. If I want to save that content into a highlight for future, usage, you can do that. Once it's actually saved into a highlight, you can see the content until I delete it. So these were like, click on it here, see if it'll bring it up. This was an original story that I did, and I just decided to save it in here for people to view until I decided to delete it, essentially. So, and as you can see here too, I created different categories based off of, different areas of the business. So I actually have a behind the scenes, tips, services, emoji fund, specific ones here from different events that we've had, team TSG. So if somebody wants to go in and learn about my team, they can see the different slides about each one of us. And that might be something you want to consider incorporating into your own Instagram account, is setting up one for your farmers market team. You could also do one that's vendors. So you could, highlight all of your vendors within there. You can highlight, recipes if you're sharing recipes, that kind of thing. So you can really make this what you want to make it, is my point. So does that help a little bit?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Awesome. Well, let's hop back over here. All right. So next one is Facebook. So Facebook they've had a lot of changes. Most of it has been visually, like how they've kind of changed the platform in general. I think they literally do that every day just to kind of make all of us stay on edge. Because I feel like every time I go into Facebook, I'm like, well, now what? But they have done some other features, like they're focusing on groups. So they actually added a Facebook reel option in there. And you can add some more customization in the About Me area within the group. So if you wanted to promote more things about the group that you started, so maybe you have a group that's geared for your farmers market vendors, or something that is, you know, a special group that you've designated for a special population of folks, this is an option. You have a couple new features. You can also focus on security with pushing people to two-factor now. I don't know if you've noticed, but Facebook has kind of strong-armed you into doing two-factor authentication. We're going to get into that in another minute, but you most certainly want to have that, because that is becoming more of an issue where people are trying to hack accounts. And so you want to have that safety feature on there. And then continuing to shift targeting and make it more limited in Facebook ads. So advertising on Facebook has become more simplified because they have a lot of the data. So you don't necessarily have to tell it what to do, because it kind of knows, which, but that being said, it is slightly more complex, because how we knew it, if you have ever promoted content on Facebook or you have been doing it for several years, you've really noticed a shift in how it's done. And so it's just not simply, you have to keep up to speed on the changes, and they've definitely put down some, you can't target populations of people as much as you used to. You have to be very careful about that. And that's just really to follow government regulations and that kind of thing. But that being said, Facebook knows a lot about who's on the platform and who likes what and who does what. So it does make it a little easier to target in that respect. There is a new Facebook page experience. If you haven't experienced already, it is there. They basically shifted everything, meaning that they're now shifting. If you've got, you know, this page for your farmers market, they've now shifted the look, feel, vibe of it into what's called now Business Suite. There is still Facebook Business Manager, which was the original tool that a lot of people connected the Facebook meta assets within. Now it's shifted to Business Suite. So yeah, it's kind of crazy if you're getting in there. Like I said, a lot of people are going in there like, whoa, what's going on? What are all these changes? It's just they're basically just trying to ultimately make the experience a little more one-stop shop, where you can get analytics, you can promote your posts, you can give access, to the people you need to give it access to, you can post to it, schedule to it. They're trying to do all the things within Business Suite. And so right now it is currently actively switching over, and they do it in different stages. So if you don't have it yet, you will have it. And then also Reels are even more focus given to the algorithm. So basically, like on Instagram, Reels get the most attention, same thing on Facebook. So overall, Meta is giving more support to video content, including ultimately Reels, because that's where consumers are interested, and therefore they're supporting it more. Okay. Any questions about Facebook? All right. All right. So some of you may have noticed, but Facebook is declining in its overall usage for a lot of different reasons. These are things to keep in mind. I share this with you only because my era, I'm a Gen Xer, so my era, that's what we started on, that's what we use, that's what we're most familiar with. Probably the majority of your farmers market folks are still very much using Facebook, but over the last couple of years, there has been a significant shift, especially political stuff, Black Lives Matter movement, it also some privacy concerns. There's been various different things that have caused people to just say, nope, no more. They've moved on, or maybe they're not using it as frequently, or they're using it in different ways. Okay, so these are some things to consider when you're actually actively moving into your marketing strategy online. Okay, so only 32% age 13 to 17 regularly use Facebook. That's not a big number. And when they use it, they're not necessarily on the feed. They're using it for Marketplace or Messenger, okay, or Reels, Facebook Reels. Gen Z is no longer friending on Facebook. I guess they don't have friends on Facebook anymore, but apparently they're not finding more friends. And then there's been a significant drop compared to 2014, 2015, when 71% of teens actually used Facebook. So within that, like almost, like 8-9 years, there's been a significant drop in usage overall. Reasons are ethical, privacy concerns, and ultimately they don't want to be where their parents are. So also, an average of 62% of current Facebook users have considered deleting their account. Who here in this room has considered deleting their personal account? Okay, yep, see? So ultimately though, hopefully you don't, because you got a farmer's market page to manage, but, and you got to have one for that. It doesn't mean you don't have to use it, but it needs to be there to function. So, right there, I mean, just looking around your room, noticing that this is the thing, right? So, basically by generation, 56% of baby boomers have considered, 58% of Gen Xers, and 65% of millennials have decided. So those numbers are pretty powerful. And again, this is all very important information for consideration as over the years, your market, you're looking at like, how do I market my market? Okay, this Facebook, I would not recommend keeping all your eggs in this basket. There's some other strategies out there. All right, any questions? I see the hand on the screen, so I didn't know if that meant anything. All right. So these are some other reasons why people say that they've deleted Facebook. This is out of a little over 1,000 people that were surveyed. But the top one being, I didn't want Facebook having my personal information. So there's a lot of security concerns out there, or I was worried about my privacy. There was too much unnecessary drama, right? So then people were like, delete. However, if there's too much drama, you can always unfollow the drama and just curate your own special little feed for the rainbows and kittens. There were too many political arguments. I spent too much time on it. I kept comparing my life to other people. That is a real problem. That's the FOMO, issue. My interactions on Facebook felt fake. There were too many ads. I visited my ex's profiles too often. I saw pictures of my exes too often. And my parents joined and ruined it for me. And I was bullied on Facebook. Okay, so these are all the reasons, right? So, but again, it's their very top one is having personal information on there. Let's talk a little bit about how to keep your social media accounts secure. As I mentioned already that, overall, people are losing their accounts to hackers because certain precautions are not taken. I will tell you, it is next to impossible to get your account back. There's very few instances when you can get it back if it is hacked, because once it's compromised, Facebook and Instagram or Meta is not going to want to give you that account back. You're going to simply have to start a whole new one again. And unfortunately, this is a big issue for businesses or for you guys. If you have worked really hard to build and curate a following and you lose that page, you've got to start all over again, not to mention the fact that there is an account out there that already also says your information on it. So then it becomes a confusion for your consumer. So these are 3 steps I highly recommend. Number 1, using a password management tool. This should just be incorporated in general for everything anyway, because our world is the world of passwords. We all have probably, I don't even know what the average number of passwords each of us has to remember, but you should avoid using the same password for everything or 2 or 3 for everything. What you ultimately want is to have a unique identifying password for every single one of your accounts. Because if someone gets a hold of one of those passwords, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to try to log in to all the other possibilities that you have using the same password. So hopefully your Instagram page does not use the same password as your Facebook page and your TikTok page. You have different passwords for all of them. I know it's a little easier for remembering, but I would recommend at least changing something, right, within that password. The password manager that I put up here, LastPass, is one that we use. There are several others. Essentially, you can get a mobile app on your phone that will also help you on the mobile side of it. You can, if you want to As a business, you can have a LastPass account and share, give access to all the individual people on your team. So everybody has access and keeps all of your passwords safe and secure. I will say at minimum, if you are not interested in incorporating a LastPass type tool, make your password like a sentence that has characters in it, and at least have it 10 characters or longer, because that will make it a whole lot more complicated for somebody to get access to it. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. The other one is the two-factor authentication. So I know it's a pain in the okay, but you definitely want to have it. If it's an Instagram type situation, you know, get the people on your team that are going to use your Instagram account, get them to preload it on their phones and go through that two-factor, giving them access ahead of time so that doesn't become a thing. But it's important to have it, because if somebody does try to hack your account, you're going to get a notification that says, hey, somebody tried to hack your account or log into your account, and you'll go, whoop, you know, that was not me. So, okay, if that happens, go in there and change your password, because more than likely somebody tried to access it. They got your password. So you want to change it. And then the other thing is making sure everybody on your team also has it set up within their own personal access. So specifically Facebook. So if you have given 2 or 3 of your team members access to your business Facebook page and they do not have two-factor set up, if their personal accounts are compromised, that could compromise your business page. So they could come in through the back door and get access to your Facebook page by breaking in through one of your employees. So it is important that all of your employees understand that and that they have two-factor engaged. Okay. And then the other thing is, and the social engineering scams, I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but those are those fake emails that come through that say, your account's been suspended. Click here to unsuspend it. Or, you know, and it's happening all the time, and they have like a fake Facebook address and everything. And a lot of times what I notice, like if I see those come across, I look, very first thing I do is I look at the email that it's coming from. And that usually tells all right there. And so you want to be really careful that you're not just clicking on things and giving information, because more than likely that is a phishing scam. Your SMS messages, they might send you something through an SMS message. I would be leery of that as well. Again, if you get any of this stuff, what I would 100% advise is that you actually log into your social account directly and see if there's any notifications within your account itself. If you have a notification, then okay, it's legit. If you don't, it's probably a phishing scam. Okay. And then the other one is, you know, the calling on the phone. I don't know why I put photo calls, but they will actually call you on the phone and try to get you that way as well. So you want to be really careful of all those scenarios. I think out of all these scenarios, I've had the fake emails and I've had the SMS messages happen to me personally. So, any questions on keeping your accounts safe?
I just have a comment. Our Instagram got hacked because of my Facebook account. We lost it. We actually got it back a month and a half later.
Oh, good.
We had over 1,000 followers on our Instagram. So we were like trying to make a new Instagram, and it was right before our biggest event of the year, which then we got it back like 2 days before our big event, which was just,
oh my gosh.
But it was such a pain in the ass. I mean, I'm sorry, that is no better.
They make it a pain in the, you know what? Oh yeah.
And I didn't have the two-factor authentication, so I would do it all immediately. It sucked.
Yeah, I've had it happen to a couple of my friends actually. And of course they come running to me, they're Shannon, can you fix my account? I'm like, so, you know, be warned, set it up. And I know it's a pain. Like I said, it's crazy, but it is very important. Now, I will tell you, I got locked out of Facebook, and it wasn't because of two-factor. So right before Christmas, I was at a client's place of business, and I was helping them navigate their back end of their Facebook Business Manager because they needed some help setting some things up. And we were having a lot of challenges getting in. The actual business owner wasn't there. He had given his login credentials to an employee of his to help get in. And so we were trying to navigate this whole thing. It was a hot mess. I decided to log in, not only, I was already logged into my own personal laptop, but I logged into their personal laptop with my login credentials. And that must have triggered something in the Facebook security world. They locked me out of my personal Facebook page. What have I learned from this? What is my experience? Number one, I never regained control of my personal Facebook page. All through Christmas, I had to go through all the stages of grief because I had been cultivating and curating my follower account. I had probably close to 3,000 followers on Facebook. And so I lost all of that. And, but I will tell you, I tried everything. I do this all day long for my clients. I went in through every angle I could think of and nothing. Facebook did not help me one bit. And you think they would, considering the fact that with all the clients that we manage, we certainly pass money to them, but no. So what I ultimately had to do was I had to start a whole new page. I had to get a cloud-based phone number that offers SMS texting capability for 2-factor. And I had to use a whole new email address. So I had to create a whole new profile and start over from that. Fortunately, because I had other people designated on my business manager as admins, I did not lose control over our clients and I did not lose control over my business. So that is another learning experience for all of you, is if you are the only one that has admin control on your farmers market business page, please make sure you have at least a second and I would say a third person on that account as an admin, as somebody that you trust, whether it be a spouse, whether it be another team member, because ultimately when you do regain it or you have to set up a new account, you can still get in and have access and have control over your account. Because if you do not and you lose your personal account, like I think about worst case scenario, it was only me and I lost control of my Facebook page, I would have lost complete control of my business page. There's something to think about. So any questions? All right, so it happens to anybody. That's my point. All right, so the good, the bad, the ugly. All right, so the good is social media is still a huge resource for every single one of you in your market. You can use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We talked about those 3 platforms being the top ones. It is still there. It's still viable. Facebook is still working. It's still doing its thing. You may notice that you have less engagement on content. People aren't commenting as much. I will, and of course the impressions are going down. Okay, yes, it is getting more challenging to get in front of your audience, and that simply is due to the fact that there is more volume on Facebook, so it only has so much room to show your content, and so that's where maybe considering promoting content occasionally is a good idea. But know this, that there are these people out there, they're called lurkers. Those are the people that go to your Facebook page or your Instagram page and they simply look. They lurk around, they look, and they're like, oh, that's cool, but they never do a dang thing. They never click on it, they never share it, they never comment, but they are consuming your content, and that's something important to consider. Okay, so you may have Google Analytics attached to your website. That's always eye-opening to look at. So you might be able to say, I feel like nobody's going to our Facebook page, but when you look at your Google Analytics data, you can actually see that, oh, well, maybe there is a good amount of people visiting your Facebook page. It's just that they're lurkers. Okay, the bad is there is a big shift in usage happening, and we've already kind of reviewed that, and it's important to stay on top of the trends and always be forward thinking about what is the next thing. Just because it's the next thing, though, remember this: you don't want to be a squirrel. You don't want to go running off and going to something. You want to think about it. Is this something that is worth putting my time and energy in, that is going to get me the return? And at the bottom there, I indicate build your email list. Who here has an email list? Raise your hand. Okay. If you do, or if you don't, you want to focus on your email list. So I challenge every single one of you this coming farmers market season to come up with a strategy to find ways to incentivize people to sign up for your email list. Some ideas could be Maybe you have a check-in area, like when people are coming into the farmer's market, you may have a table representing your organization. Maybe do a giveaway, or give an incentive to get people to sign up for that email list. Maybe make it like a thing that in order to be on the email list, you're first to know about X. You can use QR codes. So maybe make it super easy. You can have your vendors involved with you. Maybe at each vendor table, you have a little display that has your QR code, it says, join our email list to stay on top of upcoming, market events or whatever it is that you have going on. Because ultimately an email list is something that you own and that you can always come to and use. And if for some reason Facebook just goes poof, you've got it. You've got your email list, right? So, and also, people still check their emails. If they want to be on your email list, they're more than likely going to look at it. So the main thing for you, though, is making sure that the content that you're providing in that email is of value. Okay. So the ugly is the big shift is happening quickly. And when I say big shift, the shift of usage, the shift of government regulation, there's mental health concerns, especially through COVID, consumption issues, especially with the younger demographic, kind of being born around social media, and this is how they engage and interact. And there's been studies about, mental health problems resulting from the usage. So that's something to keep in mind. We as adults have a much more healthier perspective of how we should be consuming social media and being able to turn it off and turn it on. So our youth, however, this is what they're growing up with. And so there is some concern over that, and they're changing, the platforms are being charged with, finding ways to help alleviate that. And so that might cause changes in how the platforms are actually used themselves. All right. Any questions? Okay. All right, so what do you focus on? So we've highlighted some of this already, but I just wanted to bring it in to summarize everything. So platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You want to lean in on organic content. So that's content that you create, whether it be pictures or video, graphics that you create through Canva. Basically focus on a high quality and authentic content versus quantity. So, but you want to have content that's valuable. I always like to say 80% of your content should be educational and entertaining, and 20% of it be sales. So, finding ways to make that balance work, whether you're posting 4 to 5 times a week, 3/4 of that content should be focused on entertaining and educating your consumer or purchaser on your Facebook page. You want to incorporate some promoted content. So maybe hit that boost button, put $25 behind something, target within that small radius around your farmer's market, and focus on your keywords that you need to. And that will help get more eyeballs on the important content. I know there's some farmers markets here around the Richmond, Virginia area that I've helped with promoting just Facebook events. So you can just literally just go in there and promote your Facebook event. And then that's something that has all the elements and information for people to learn about the upcoming farmers market. Then you've got short form video content. We talked a lot about that, just the importance of keeping it within a minute, and using that on Reels and TikTok. If you've got YouTube, maybe use it in shorts on TikTok or on YouTube. And also take lots of great pictures. Have people on your team take pictures. Pull those pictures in and use those pictures to showcase all the great things that are happening at your market. And then the other one, which I haven't really spoken too much about yet, and that is influencer marketing. So 80% of consumers actually have purchased something after seeing it recommended by an influencer. An influencer doesn't have to be someone famous. An influencer is simply somebody that other people listen to. So you want to think about who in your community, whether it be a politician, maybe it's a health consultant, maybe it's a local restaurant or a local organization that has a lot of pull in your community, that is willing to amplify your content and share who you all are. So, you know, incorporating influencer marketing is super powerful. You can get a lot more mileage out of it. So, you know, they've already got an audience, so why not use it, right? The cost for influencer marketing can vary between free and you have to invest something or trade something. It just depends on who that influencer is. But quite frankly, you know, if there's somebody local in your community, they may be willing, they may be excited just to be considered an influencer and excited to help amplify who you are as a market, right? So, you know, I would just start with having conversations with people that you know that are in your community and saying, hey, you know, you all understand what it, you know, the importance and value of having a farmer's market and how that gives back to our community and our local vendors and market professionals, that kind of thing. And I would love it if you can help us spread the word to your, you know, followers. You know, so it's just starting that conversation. And even if you get one or two, that, I mean, that's going to be so much more powerful than not having them. And then be prepared to utilize your social platforms for customer service. So the other side of social media is not only is it out there to get you visibility and get people interested in coming to your market, but it is also very powerful for the purpose of, you know, utilizing the platforms for customer service. Looking at the time here, are we good on time?
So yeah, we're getting close to being done. So are
Okay.
you, how much longer do you have?
I'm just about done. So I just want to make probably another like 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, if you could wrap it up in 5 minutes.
All right, cool. We talked about this, so short form video, why it's important. So 73% of consumers prefer short form video. That's why you want to work on short form video, which is less than a minute. Okay, and utilizing it on TikTok, Reels, that kind of thing. And 30% of all short form videos are watched 81% of the way. So that's why you want to keep it short, because people's attention spans are short, right? All right, so some tips on accomplishing your goals, things to think about moving into market season. So now is the time to plan your content ideas and reach out to vendors to get content from them so that you can support them through your farmers market season. You want to use Canva to create content. So your Facebook events, your social posts, and even videos. Work with your team to put a strategy together. Consider setting up a regular time to plan. So getting with your team at a certain set time and planning the content that's going to go out. And then hopefully moving forward through the season, this is going to become a consistent thing. As far as the volume of how frequent, you know, 4 to 6 times a week on Facebook is ample. You don't need to do multiple times a day. In fact, multiple times a day is not ideal because you'll cannibalize other posts. Instagram every day, up to 2 times a day, you're good. And that would be from Reels to your feed posts to stories. Each one of those counts as one, okay? And TikTok is also a frequent one. So if you're into TikTok, I mean, hey, if you're pumping out stuff 7 days a week, great, good on you. But that's good. Frequency is good there. And then constantly be looking for opportunity to create video. Go live. Consider going live on Instagram. Consider going live on Facebook. If you've got 1,000+ followers on TikTok, you can try that too. And then use the power of the platform. So, you know, the big thing is on Instagram, incorporating stories and reels. And then also on Facebook, the big thing on there is creating events for all of your farmers market events. All right, and here's a quick snapshot. If you want to take a picture of this, you can refer to it later. But these are ideas for content. Many of you probably use many of these already. But, you know, recipes, what's in season, weather-related updates, pictures of your market, staff spotlights, vendor highlights, farmers market updates. You can have a contest, create a Facebook event and promote the event, user-generated content, go live. So these are just some of the ideas that you can incorporate. So if you are looking for help with your marketing, I know that it takes a lot, it takes a village. There is the Abundant Montana, and I know that Aaron Austin is, I think it was Austin, right, is going to be actually giving a presentation following this to talk about how they can help you with your marketing. You can feel free to scan that QR code right there. That will help you get to their website where you can learn more about what they have to offer. But, you know, if you have the capabilities and you have the budget, I would highly recommend outsourcing it to somebody, you know, and getting their help, right? So they do it for others. So, hey, they can help you out too. All right. And then last but not least, I actually have a free resource guide that we offer. And by getting this, it would elect you into our email list, which we offer once a week, some very helpful blog tips. We also do something called social media in the news, which is any updates for any social media changes. So if you're interested in getting this free guide and getting our newsletter, please go ahead and scan that to sign up. I'll just leave it there for another quick second. I think you guys all got it. And last but not least, final questions.
Yeah.
I just have a quick one about content differentiation between platforms. If you're using all three of these, I know that there are ways to post the same thing to multiple areas, but that might not be wise. Do you have any recommendations on how to differentiate content, and should we do that, or is it okay to post the same thing on the different content channels?
Yeah, so there is no problem in posting the same content to all the platforms. Here's the caveat. You've got to be able to manipulate that content to speak the platform language. So thinking about the size of the content. So if it's a graphic, making sure that, you know, either it's a square graphic or it's a longer graphic, 9:16 for like, if you're going to do it on stories. Or if it's a video, you know, either the 9:16 ratio or square video works sufficiently. And then of course there's different rules. So some of them have different video lengths that they recommend, or the graphic sizing, like as I mentioned. So you just want to think about the platform itself before you post. What I would not recommend, it's not the worst thing in the world, but some people will amplify content on Instagram to Facebook. So you'll post it on Instagram and it automatically posts to Facebook, and you have all these hashtags, and hashtags aren't a thing on Facebook. You can use one or two, but people don't necessarily research for hashtags on Facebook. So I would consider scheduling content specifically for Facebook and then also Instagram. So it just depends. But the thing is that your audience is going to be on all the different platforms in different ways. And more than likely, they're not going to see the same post on the different platforms, because there could be an algorithm thing. Maybe the ones that are on Instagram don't go to Facebook or vice versa. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. And to make your lives easier, stick to the same thing. Okay.
One more question. I thought I saw.
I just have a comment, not really a question.
Yeah.
We talk about a lot about like getting your own content out there, very important, but also engage with your community, like follow everybody, follow all of these markets, follow your state markets, follow other nonprofits, share their stories, share their events, because they will do the same for you. If you engage with your community, they will help you out too. But just as much importance as your own content, I think.
Absolutely. 100%. Or as the emoji goes, like, you know, where you have the two hands with the thumbs. Absolutely. Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank you guys for having me this afternoon, or I guess it's morning for you. It's afternoon for me. It's lunchtime. So thank you all. I guess before I go, just want to make sure, Mara, Tammy, is there anything else? Any other questions that I can help with?
I think that's it. We'll be sharing your slides with everybody in a follow-up email, so you'll all get
Great. Fantastic. And I want to thank you guys so much for doing what you do. I personally love farmers markets, and I understand their importance, and thank you. Thank you for doing what you do in the state of Montana. So